Religious leaders say he's corrupting the youth of America.
While you and I
Psychologists feel he's creating mass hysteria.
will by and by
Police say he incites rioting.
no true love way.
They think he's crazy, and yet he's one of the most important men in America.
What are we doing here today?
We are going to interview Jake Busey and his father, Gary Busey. Look at this beautiful view right at the beach. Good morning.
Welcome to the Busey family inside. This past month has been trying. I mean, I've had a hard time making sure my gun is like at my mom's house. Like, it's been rough. So, and not for him, but for me. The gun for me.
All right, let's hide the guns.
So that's.
Let's hide the guns.
Yeah, the guns are gone. I don't have a car.
How's your
The
truck?
truck blew up.
So you have no
I've
transportation?
got no transportation whatsoever.
I'm gonna hook you up. I got a project for you, so we're gonna get you working again.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh my God, that's huge. Thank you.
Just
That's
a little more.
million.
I take care of
Appreciate
you.
that, man.
No worries. So if we went into the bedroom and woke up Gary with the camera, would that be a really bad thing?
Yeah, let me go see if he's got any
Okay.
clothes on and if he's like discreet or not.
He's trying to get Gary up to come downstairs.
He's really deeply asleep. He's not even opening his eye. He's like so sleeping. His diet consists of chocolate ice cream, Oreo cookies, and Coke Zeros. Now he really enjoys the notion of like one-on-one time with the two of us. And we could be having lunch somewhere and someone walks up to the table very politely and asks for an autograph, and he will bark at him, yell at him, and say, "Hey, this is father-son time. I'm with my son. Get the out of here."
I got it.
So he really likes the notion of us kind of telling stories. In fact, we tried to do this, a similar thing. The second that the interviewer went to me and the camera wasn't on him, he threw a tantrum.
I love those shoes, man. Are those Indian moccasins? Those are cool. A lot of work goes into that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
but they got lots of time.
I like the socks too.
And these are the faces of tree sloths.
The socks have an effect on him.
Whoa, I'm still spluttering and waking up. Thank you, buddy. God bless you.
Yeah.
You woke me up really good today, because I didn't get to sleep till 7 a.m.
Oh!
Is that thing around your neck? Is that Indian too?
Yeah, this is Navajo, and I had a vision, and the vision was I was sitting on the edge of an Oreo, and you could see the predator birds, hawks flying by.
How do you sit on an Oreo?
Huh?
How do you sit on an Oreo?
What?
You said you were sitting on an Oreo. Like a cookie?
It's Arroyo. It's
Arroyo.
Arroyo. Gotcha.
The Arroyo crawled up a 12-year-old Navajo kid with a red bandana, a white shirt, a blue sash, and I said to him, "What is important about being honest?" And he looked at me and said, "The truth requires no questions." And he said, "Here, bend over." And he put it around my neck.
Whoa.
Turquoise
Yeah.
on silver.
They're beautiful.
And he said, "That's a very spiritual Navajo truth finder." And he said, "When you wear this, you'll always be the truth." I was born in Goose Creek, Texas,
Yep.
which is 33 and a half miles east of Houston. And I was born June 29th, 1944 at 11:15 a.m. My grandmother, on my dad's side, was a full-blood Delaware Indian.
When you think about your career, is there a particular movie that you think is the most representative? I mean,
All of them.
all of them.
Because I came from the stage. When we do plays, we talk loud. Well, I had to do the opposite. Because doing a play, you're talking loud. And, I think they must go that way. Well, TV is more like, I think they went that way. Everyone I worked with is beyond amazing. Because what their work with me is they motivate and inspire me. And I grew up, I'm on my 80th trip around the sun now. Movies that got me. When I was 12, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Pinocchio, Snow White, and Seven Dwarfs, Fantasia and the Song of the South.
Disney fan.
Animation.
When I
Good
saw
times.
Peter Pan, I made a commitment to myself right then. I am not going to grow up. And here I am, 80.
And you didn't grow up yet. That's you have a young mind.
Yes, he does.
Never grow up.
It's about 6.
Did you have a good relationship with your father?
Oh, you just stepped in it.
Did your father get to see you as an actor?
Yeah. I had a TV series called The Texas Wheelers for MTM.
Yep.
And he came to the set. And he met Valerie Harper. And Valerie Harper looked at him and said, "Now I know why Gary is so handsome.
Oh.
Because of your handsomeness," to my dad. And my dad didn't smile embarrassingly ever, but he did then. And Coffeyville, Kansas is right on the state line. And I got offered a scholarship to play football. And I went up there in a magazine called Dial, D-I-A-L. And it was Judy's headshot profile. I just got shown the picture of my first wife.
She was the mascot for the school football team, the Red Raven. So she wore a little Red Raven bird suit and ran around with her yellow duck
And
feet tights.
when we played our first game, and right in front of me was Judy, and her little red shorts. And when she took off her helmet, Cupid shot me right in the heart in there.
It's so easy to fall in love. It's so easy to fall in love.
And in the days when Jake was born, they had something called natural childbirth. And his mother, Judy Lynn Helkeberg Busey, and I went to those classes. And I remember when she was on the table, I put the palms of my hands in the small of her back and lift up. And I could see the movement in her stomach starting. It was like a little ocean wave that went from the navel down to the crotch. And that was Jake, getting ready to come out. I had a flash blast last night that I needed to go see Judy.
Good luck with that.
You can't take me?
No.
Why?
I can't get in the middle of that.
This is called life and love.
She would hang me if I did that.
Why?
Because she doesn't want to see you. She's very upset with you. To a very high degree.
That's what I want to see her about.
Well, she's not gonna, you know her, she's a strong German woman. You're gonna have to work that out with her. I'm not taking you up there to see her, because I don't want her to
It
throw
will happen when it's right.
knives at me.
It will happen when it's right.
Keep dreaming about it and maybe it'll happen.
I'm not dreaming, I'm praying and meditating.
There you go.
And that will make it happen.
Well, okie doke.
One thing about being a father to my firstborn, William Jacob Busey, he's been a father to me many times. His first movie was when he was 5.
Dustin Hoffman. Straight Time.
You mind if I say this?
Say whatever you want.
Are you upset?
No. It's your time.
It's our time.
It's our time.
Dustin Hoffman brought me in to be his son, to give the audience a little more empathy, to make it more heavy, to make it more of a dramatic punch when Dustin takes him out to the garage and executes him with a .45. They told me, all right, when Dustin says this one line of dialogue, I want you to haul off and just punch your dad in the cheek. Just punch him right in the side of the face. And which we were all seated in a booth, so it was a punch like bam, like that.
This is the scene right here.
And I was afraid to do it because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to hit my dad, I said, no, I can't do that. And they said, yeah. And they said, we promise nothing's going to happen to you. And I haul off, and from that, I punch him at my cue. And he grabs me by the shoulders, lifts me up, and slams me down and screams in my face, don't you ever fucking hit me again! And my face turned 3 sheets of red. Oh my God.
Let's have a nice round of applause for Mr. Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Did you study Buddy Holly?
No. He crashed when I was in the 8th grade.
My love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing over.
So I came in from school, junior high, heard on the radio, we had a strategy today in the music industry. The plane crashed and took Buddy Holly, J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper, from Beaumont, Texas, and Richie Valens. I went, oh God, I felt it. I felt it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that's when I got the notice in the spiritual realm that I'm going to have something to do with Buddy Holly.
And I remember being there as a kid, being about 7 years old, and at the roller rink.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
And it was so exciting. They played all that music live, and they recorded it live for the film. When they said roll the camera and action, and the band just fired up with That'll Be the Day, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, boom! And then he hits the guitar riff. And I mean, the whole roller rink, whatever any of the extras were doing, whatever anyone was doing, it was like, oh, shit! It was so loud and like, we're starting now. And they launched into the song, and it was incredible. And my mom, being that she was like, I don't know, she was like 30, 31 at the time.
She's the most beautiful thing.
She had one of those big poofy skirts and a little white top, and her hair in the ponytail with her own white skates from the 50s.
When I met his mother, when we were going to junior college in Coffeyville, Kansas, she decided she'd take me roller skating.
It's already funny.
I was really good at everything but turning. So I would skate down the rink.
Everything but turning.
And she would turn, cross her legs over and turn. And I'd just smash into the wall. That's how I stop. That's usually my life. Smash on the wall, wake up and say, oh, let's do it again.
How did the Academy Award nomination change your career? Did it make a difference?
Drastically.
Yeah, big time.
We moved from a crappy part of Canoga Park, California, to Malibu, California. I remember my mom saying, I asked her, how much did we pay for the house? And she said, well, you can't tell anybody. It was $75,000.
Which is a lot back then.
75 grand for a house in Malibu.
Hollywood actor Gary Busey says his career was on an upswing when he got into a near-fatal motorcycle accident.
I went around the corner going 40 miles an hour without a helmet, and fishtailed the bike, threw me up and over, hit the curb at Washington Robertson, split my skull up to here, knocked a hole in it that big, went off the bike head first into the curb without a helmet. When I recovered after the traumatic brain injury, I knew it was something I had to do. So I went to Washington, D.C. and talked about the computer that sits on top of your neck is the most viable thing you have to be alive. Mm-hmm. Protected. Wear a helmet. And so that was the birth of the Traumatic Brain Injury Act. I know I had to do something to help others.
Your head injury didn't seem to bother your memory.
I think it helped me. Knocked some sense into me. From shooting one day on straight time, I was in the van driving, and Jake was passenger seat. And I said, well, what do you think about acting now? I mean, you were amazing, everything in one take. And Jake said, I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever done. What's dumb? He said, you're pretending. But you play like you're not pretending.
There you go. The wisdom of a sage, 5 years old. But I negotiated the best deal for myself ever on that one. So, yeah, I negotiated the best deal in Hollywood. his agent represented me legally. And
Meyer.
so he said to me, Jake, and this guy's actually a Hollywood legend, Meyer, Michigan. He says, how much would you like to get paid for this, Jake? And I said, well, I have 158 pennies in a jar right now. So I think I would like to get 158 nickels, 158 dimes, 158 quarters, and $158. But that was, as far as I knew, I got that, and I was happy. I love Dustin Hoffman. He was like an uncle, you know?
Yeah.
He was so cool, just so cool. And I believe he named his son after me.
Yeah, he did.
So that was cool, yeah. Jake Hoffman is named after me, so that's a real sweet honor. It's been an interesting way to grow up. I think Jeff Bridges is like technically my godfather, right?
Yeah.
Is that the deal?
Yeah, Jeff is the soulmate of us.
What has Gary taught you about acting in life?
I remember a quote once, hit your mark, find your light, say your line. I went to college for a semester and I took an acting, like a theater class on a whim, because at that point I was dedicated to being a studio drummer. That was what my career was going to be. So I took this acting class on a whim in Santa Barbara at college, and there was a girl in the class who was like this cute little surfer girl, like sandy blonde hair. This class was so silly that the instructor was one of these New York beatnik dressed in like a black unitard. So she had us moving around like, okay, now you're snakes. So you're like moving around on this dirty floor in the theater in Santa Barbara as a snake. Like, this is not fucking acting. I grew up, I spent my whole life on movie sets. This is not it. Final exams are coming up. So I'm handing out your monologues. So the woman says my name and then hers right after, and the girl goes, oh. And she said, I can't go after you. I said, why? She said, you're the best one in the class. And I thought, well, that's kind of sweet. That's nice of her to say. I don't feel like it. Here's the thing. We didn't speak once in the class.
You're always that way. You're always that way.
Or like you're a dog and you're like sniffing your nuts or whatever. Like there was no acting. And then for the final, she hands us a page-long monologue. Okay, we've had no prep for this whatsoever. I don't know what I'm doing. So I remember studying the monologue, and it was, I believe it was from a Sam Shepard play.
Wow, man.
The one character describes to his friend what it was like the first time he was with a girl and he got to see her private parts. So I did the monologue. I got an A+. And at that point, I said, this is ridiculous, but I like it. And the thrill I got from doing the monologue, getting the applause, but really wasn't so much about the applause. It was about like the feeling of having conquered all those words and made them real.
Man.
Took them off the page. I just thought, well, now this is really rewarding. And I started just going to acting classes 5 nights a week. And then had a rock band that I was in, so I was just always up at night. It was either night acting classes or playing gigs in Hollywood. Shit, my band, we opened for a couple other unknown bands. So we went first, and this other unknown band called Tool played, and another unknown band finished off, and they were called Rage Against the Machine. And I thought, that is too long of a title to ever work.
But they were good.
So I'm back there, and they've set up, and now they hit the downbeat, and they start playing Killing in the Name of. And I just was floored. I couldn't believe it. It was like the world had opened up. And I thought, my God, now this is music. And I ran past the hi-hat and between the drums and the bass player, basically, and just stage dove into the audience. I was so excited. Now, mind you, I'm 6'3", wearing a huge black motorcycle coat, and big jack boots, and the fucking crowd just went whoop, parted. And I was like Superman looking over the dance floor. I thought, well, now what am I going to do? So I somehow got my legs underneath me, and I had so much momentum, I had to run it out, and I basically ran all the way across the room and smashed into the bar. And
Dang.
that
God.
was the last time
You're a
I
stunt
attempted
drummer.
a stage dive.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
We wound up playing with a band called Mighty Joe Young all the time. And now Mighty Joe Young got a record deal and then was the record release party for the Stone Temple Pilots. And they did it. They went through the roof. When I was young, very young, he had substance abuse issues and he'd be awake all night for a week. And sometimes he would be doing cocaine in his room and just writing songs and recording them and writing. But then he'd go to the bar, the local bar every now and then and jam with the people there. And then a lot of times bring them home. So we'd have like very famous musicians at the house, like David Sanborn or Tom Petty or like, you know, Mick Fleetwood.
Mark
or
Finnegan.
You know, there was always these heavy cats at the house just like with nowhere to go after 2 a.m. and they still were ready to rock. You know, so they'd come back to the house and do like an acoustic jam. And quite often they wouldn't have a drummer. And so I remember, but I slept on the top bunk and there was more than a few times where a giant hand would grab my pajamas and pull me out of the bed and I'd hit the floor and he'd go, "We need you on drums." And so 3 in the morning, I'm
It
in
wasn't
there
that severe,
in
was it?
fireman's pajamas playing drums. So we're at the China Club, and it's the early '90s, and they have like Wednesday night is a jam night, and anyone and everyone can go up on stage.
Right.
So Dad goes up on stage. John Entwistle, bass player of the Who, is on stage.
Yeah.
I go up, get behind the drums. And Slash from Guns N' Roses and other firms, he grabs a guitar. But the funny thing is, I'm sitting behind the drums, and Slash turns around to me and he says, between with his hair and his hat, you know, and he's like, "Hey man, what key are we in?" Before the song starts, and I was like, "Dude, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I have no idea." So I just said, "I don't know, bro. You're gonna have to work that one out." And he is just such a phenomenal guitar player. He makes that Les Paul just sing. And so to see the dude with the top hat and the shades turn around to you and ask you a question like, "Hey," and you're doing a mutual thing together, right? It's a participation vibe of energy
Art.
and art expression. So to have him ask me like, "Hey, what are we doing here? Hey, what?" You know, I was like, "I don't know, man," but that was a cool minute. From Dusk Till Dawn was a TV series I was doing in Austin, with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, we did that together. That was fun.
We needed to go back in time, flashback for the crowd, for the audience. So it goes back like 3 generations to my character's great-grandfather. So Robert said, "What if we got your dad to play your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather?" I wound up having to direct a scene because the director and him just couldn't communicate. And they didn't know how to talk to him. So he refused to say the line of dialogue on the page, which is something like, "I'm not going in there now." And he just refused to say the written line, and I had to kind of walk him all the way around in a circle to the point where he finally said, "You know what would be really good if I said, 'I'm not going in there right now'?" And I said, "That's a great idea." And then we got the shot a couple hours later.
See the power? I turned flipping channels the other night and I saw a movie you did with John Cusack called Identity.
Come on, you can tell me. I'm good at keeping secrets. I got a whopper myself.
He's brilliant in everything he does.
Not like I did this movie Rust with Alec Baldwin and the tragedy. So every penny that the movie would earn goes to her widower and to her children.
Helena Hutchinson.
Correct. So
That's great,
the
Jay.
movie needs to be released so that their family at least gets to benefit from residual from all the sales of the film.
And her work be saying
Also to have it like a big
Great idea.
wake.
that's a good one, man.
Great idea.
Imagine having the premiere be a big wake for her.
They might do something like that.
A celebration of her life.
Celebration of her life, yeah. And then when the movie comes out, every single ticket sold, the money goes to her family and her kids.
Mm-hmm. What sustains you in your life when so many other actors?
It's love. Because love is healing. And LOVE stands for Living on Victorious Energy. VIP stands for Very Important Primate. One of the best ones is Forgive. FORGIVE. Finding ourselves really giving individuals valuable energy. And valuable energy is unconditional love. Life is wonderful. You know what life stands for?
Tell us.
LIFE stands for Living in Forever Eternity. And the word peace, PEACE, pure excitement at chasing eternity.
All right, so we got that handled.
All of our lives are guided angelically. It's very important to relax and understand the power of silence. Smooth paths are fun to walk on. Because you don't walk. You just stand there and everything else moves around you. Acting is the absence of acting. It's believing in the truth of the moment you're creating at that instant without thinking. It's called freedom. And the word freedom, FREEDOM, stands for facing real, exciting energy, developing out of miracles.